to this webinar about lead nurturing that converts. We're going to go through some strategies for engaging leads with marketing automation. My name is Agneta Nevell, and I'm the product marketing manager here at Apsis efficy. And with me today, I have Frida Bogren, head of demand generation. And I know that leads and lead nurturing is one of her favorite topics. So she's invited as the subject matter expert. Good morning, Frida. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm good, especially since I get to talk about one of my favorite topics, which is lead nurturing. So this is a good start of the day.
Perfect. We are so happy to have you here. So before we get started and really deep dive into the tactics and the strategy, let's first define a lead. What is a lead? What's the definition of a lead, Frida?
Yes, I think it's important to have the definitions clear, both here today for this webinar, but also in general for you in the organization that you work for. In this webinar, we will refer to a lead as a potential customer who has shown interest. So not a qualified lead or a prospect. And in general, there is multiple ways and definitions to use. We, for example, at efficy work with lead, MQLs, SQLs, SQOs, and closed and so on. But there's multiple ways to do this. Just make sure that you are aligned within your organization on how you define a lead, and also that you are defining a lead as a potential customer who has shown interest during today's webinar.
Exactly. And just a note to that is that a lead is, of course, also context dependent. So depending on your industry and your company and your brand, defining a lead will not be the same for everyone. So let's look at some examples because we know in the audience today we have companies from the education and training sector. And for them, maybe a lead is someone who fills out a request for a course, signs up for an event, or maybe downloads a program brochure. That could be one definition. We also have participants from nonprofit and associations and membership organizations. And in that industry, maybe a lead is someone who signs up to receive updates, shows interest in volunteering, that would be great, or even better, request information on donating. And last but not least, we are in the SaaS industry, and we know that in the audience we have today, we share this as well. So maybe for you guys, a lead would be someone who downloads a white paper, signs up for a webinar. Yeah, you're here today, or requests a product demo. And going back to the initial definition of the lead, someone who's indicating interest in solving a business problem. That's perfect. So do you agree with this, Frida? Does it make sense?
Yes, this makes perfectly sense for me. We actually also work with layers within a lead, where we work with low intent and high intent leads. So there's different
Mm,
types of leads as well. So there's multiple ways to
absolutely.
do this.
Absolutely. So now we are aligned here in this webinar, and you and I are very much aligned. But why does it matter? Why do we need to talk about leads and lead nurturing? Well, we know that statistically, on average, 25% of the leads are ready to buy straight away. The others actually need some type of nurturing. But let's start with these 25%. What would you say identify these 25% that are actually ready to buy straight away?
Yes, these leads sit within the bottom of your funnel. Maybe they even come from channels that is targeting more of the bottom of your funnel, where they are more ready to buy. They have a budget available, they have the decision authority, they have the urgency, and also know that you are a good fit already. Maybe they have come through there through some of the more early funnel initiatives that you are doing. But yeah, that would explain who these 25% are. And normally those bottom funnel types of conversion also come at a higher cost.
Yes, absolutely. And that's 25% of the total, which leaves us with 75% that might require some type of nurturing so that we can convert them. What would you say identify that 75%? Why do they still need nurturing?
Yes, so here is where we have the biggest bucket and where lead nurturing can really make the difference, because these leads are still researching, experimenting, looking around, still awaiting approval. They are doing their risk assessments, maybe even window shopping only. And they are, of course, comparing you with your competitors, most likely. So this is where lead nurture really matters to help them get into the 25%.
So now we know that we need to target these 75% with some type of nurturing, and we also understand a bit why, where they are in this journey. And the goal, of course, is to turn these leads into revenue using nurturing tactics. Can you give us some examples of what that could be and why?
Yes. We touched a bit about that leads normally come with a price, and that could, of course, be either money or effort. But your leads coming in, of course, you want them to move further down the funnel and not have them exit in any of the funnel stages. So this is where you really can use lead nurture to minimize that they are dropping out of their funnel when they should not. So just to work with lead nurturing to make sure that they have the information that they need by each funnel stage is a big source to improve revenue. It also supports sales and marketing alignment because, um, of course, we shouldn't hand over leads that are not ready to enter the sales process just yet. So it will also improve the sales and marketing alignment to have a good joint collaboration in terms of taking care of the leads, handing over when ready, but also the possibility to hand over back again to marketing for continued lead nurturing if that is needed. So it's great for alignment in that sense to really make sure that you hand over leads that is ready for the sales process. You also have the maximize ROI. Again, leads come with the cost of money or effort, and you really need to make sure that the leads you bring in from each channel have the funnel experience that they need to be able to be revenue in the end. So that's also something um, to really work with lead nurturing on. And then, of course, it's to increase engagement. And for us in the SaaS business, a free trial flow, for example, is one of those flows where we really try to engage our leads, having them log in to experience the awesomeness of our platforms, guiding them around, showing the impact that we have made for others. So I would say these are key nurturing activities to turn your leads into revenue.
Absolutely. I really like the fact that you're mentioning the cost in both money and effort, because what you invest in the nurturing, you also want to see as revenue, whether it's time or resources or money. Which then leads us into how do we know that we're successful? What KPIs can we look at to see whether we're actually doing a good job with our nurturing strategies?
Yes. And for the funnel performance, what we use is the conversion rates between each funnel stage. So that is a really good KPI and metric to measure success. It's also a good metric to identify where do I need to take action first, where is the leakage the biggest, where do I have the quick wins. So I think funnel conversion rates are a good KPI to use when you're going to measure the success of your lead nurturing and its impact. Of course, the ROI, you need to look at, okay, this is what actually this lead cost from coming from this channel. So it's also a good metric to use. We also look at sales cycle length, because if you can shorten the sales cycle length with your nurture flow. That will also be a great KPI. And then for the last one, I'm thinking maybe you can add some information to that one.
Absolutely, because as a product marketing manager in my sphere of the business, we work a lot with existing customers and adding the value throughout the customer life cycle, making sure that we retain the business, that they stay happy, and that we can make sure that the customer lifetime value is high, and that the leads that you guys push through the funnel and nurture, that we pick it up and keeping the engagement high. So absolutely. So now in the audience, people might be thinking, okay, that's all good, but what strategy and tactics work for us? How can we get started? And first and foremost, it's contextual. There is not one right answer, but you have this great quote, and I just love this. Any flow is better than no flow. So tell us, Frida, what is this all about?
Yes. Here I am on a Tuesday morning, just quoting myself in a
Fantastic.
webinar. But I really believe this, and we have touched a bit upon some of the flows and tactics that work for us in the SaaS industry, which is, for example, our free trial flows. And that could also be an example of any flow is better than no flow. You can start with just a few emails or even one email saying, thank you for signing up. This is how you log in. This is where you can get help if you need. But you can also extend it into maybe 8 emails, like we currently have in some of our free trial flows during 14 days. So there is so many different ways to do it, but the important thing is just to get started, because that one email will add value. And then from there, you can build on your flow. One other tactic that is, of course, also really important for us is to nurture those early interest type of leads, where we normally use some lead magnet, maybe a downloadable resource, and there you can also follow up with relevant content. And here again is also a great example of where you can start small and go bigger as you go. Where just to say thank you for downloading, this is our next resource, can actually be enough, or you have a full flow of good relevant content for this specific topic to create a really good nurture flow. So there's different ways to do that as well. Then there is also the flows based of usage, such as upcoming renewal or usage decrease, that you can also work with, both in simple or in more mature ways.
Yeah. And I know it might feel a bit off calling a flow with just one email a flow, but you need to get started somewhere. So that could actually be the very early start, the embryo of your first flow. So just get started. Any flow is better than no flow. Quote Frida. Fantastic. And we don't want to leave you empty-handed. We want to also give you some like hands-on tactics that you can use. Starting off with connecting the lead funnel to the customer journey and the customer life cycle, because all of these work together through the different stages in a way where you can map, manage, and master these flows. My favorite expression, map, manage, master, works in a lot of different areas. Some nurturing tactics, hands-on, what can you actually do and how can you work with that? And then tying it all to marketing automation. So let's look at a very simplified overview of how the customer journey and the customer life cycle all ties into the lead funnel stages and how you can work with these throughout the funnel. So Frida, I'll ask you to walk us through this and connect the lead funnel stages to these other two journeys.
Yes, so we have been talking about the funnel stages, where it here starts with the IQL. So they have shown some type of interest. They're starting to see us. They are aware that we exist. And in practical, this could be maybe a website visitors. Then to move on to the MQL stage is where they're starting to think about you and engage with you, and maybe fill a form and leave their interest visible for you. So you now have their contact details. This means they're qualified from a marketing perspective, and we would hand them over to sales. And if sales agree that this is indeed a qualified lead and there is a proper contact with a real interest, they would accept it. Then it turns into a sales qualified lead. And then you are more into the doing stage of the customer journey, where we could, for example, hope for a demo, and hopefully that the demo goes very well. And if so, then we will turn that SQL into a customer to care about and to retain.
Absolutely. So the lead funnel stages goes from a information qualified lead to a marketing qualified lead, then to a sales qualified lead, and hopefully also a customer. Fantastic. Thank you, Frida. Well, let's look at some tactics now. Okay, I want to get started with some lead nurturing. What can I do? We will present 3 different tactics, but they're all connected. So they all go hand in hand, helping you to nurture your leads. But we're going to start with drip campaigns. What is that, Frida? How does this work?
Yes, so here is an overview of some drip campaign examples that I've gathered. And the drip campaign is an automated series of emails or messages. It can also include SMSs, for example, that are sent to a contact over time based on either their action or the stage in their journey. So we touched a bit upon one core flow for us, which is free trial users, where normally you can have one email saying, welcome to us, here's your first step, you can log in, this is a quick start video. Maybe you have in the second email a feature spotlight of how to import contacts or something relevant, then followed by some case study showing great results for any of your other customers, tips and tricks, and so on. So that is one example of a drip campaign. There can also be one for membership organization to welcome a new member, for example. Maybe send a welcome from someone key from your organization to really give a warm welcome, describe the benefits and show them around, introduce them to your top 3 resources or reports, maybe upcoming events in a later stage. And maybe in the 4th email, you would say, here is a member that I want to give some spotlight and how they benefit, and continue from there. So that is some example of drip campaigns that I would want to mention.
Perfect. Great examples. And I think the audience can relate to at least some of these. So perfect. Thank you. To send emails or send any type of message, you need content, but this could also be a tactic of its own. So together with the drip campaign or working more kind of intensely with your content marketing, you can connect these. But content marketing workflow is a lead nurturing tactics. How does this work?
Then it's more about really educating and providing more in-depth knowledge to drive these purchase decisions. So here, I think a good flow is to share maybe 5 tips in 5 days could be something for you, because no matter what you do, you will most likely sit on a lot of insights that you can share. A journey of impact could also be very interesting. I personally want to highlight the last example there of how do you compare. So this is, for example, something that we work with, where we as a MarTech provider sit on a lot of insights in terms of open rates and delivery rates and when is the right time to send, and so on, where if you, like me, are always very interested in knowing how you perform in relation to others, this would be something, a piece of content that would really add value for you. So this is something that we work with as an example in terms of content marketing, where we provide this yearly report of benchmarks to support and compare that we share for anyone where it's relevant. Also, in a combination of a flow, trying to add as much value as possible.
Absolutely. I personally like the one from pain point to solution because it kind of ties into my line of business as well. How you can show your leads, how you can help them from experiencing pain points to solving that with whatever you have to offer. Great examples, and again, perfect to have as part of a drip campaign, making sure that you provide that in-depth content. We also want to be personal and relevant, of course. So another tactic that you can use in your lead nurturing would be personalized follow-ups. So can you walk us through some examples of more personalized emails or messages?
Yes. So here we are looking at some more direct follow-ups based on interactions or engagement. For us, for example, it could be a demo request where, of course, you want to trigger a first email saying, hey, thanks for your interest. When will be a good time to have a call and go through this demo? Maybe a few days after, if no reply, you will send some type of reminder. If still no reply after a few days, maybe you even offer to share a recording tailored for that company, as an example. So these types of flows are straightforward, but very, very key. So I think that is a good example. It can also be for if you're, for example, a non-profit. I think this is a good example of a win-win situation where if you have a donation page visit by a lead, but they didn't donate yet. What if you could trigger an email saying, hey, thanks for learning more about us and what we do. Can I answer any questions before you get involved? That way, you're really helping the visitors, guiding them, but you're also serving your purpose of driving them further down the funnel by lead nurturing. So I think that is also a very good example of how you can continue to nurture someone and nudge them maybe 2 days after saying, here's how even a very small monthly gift can change life. A few days after, you invite to a free info session because obviously you seem to share the same interest for this topic. So I think there's also a lot of good win-win flows that you can work with.
Yes, and that's even a win-win-win. It's a win for you as a brand. It's a win for the lead or the potential donor, but also a win for the cause that you're supporting. So that's a fantastic example. So we now know what lead is and what lead nurturing is and how we can work with the customer journey and the customer lifecycle management, supporting all of these three with the lead funnel stages. We have some great examples and tactics with drip campaigns, content marketing workflows, and also the personalized follow-ups. We also need a tool to help us with this because, well, we don't want to do it manually every time because that's quite time consuming and then the lead will come with a higher cost. So using marketing automation is a great idea. Why? Well, it helps sending that timely, relevant messaging, of course. It's scalable. So you can start with that flow with just one email and then work of that, improve, increase the number of emails, turn your one email into a flow. It will also give that consistent nurturing over time. You mentioned also the behavior triggers. So anything that is triggered on engagement, interactions, you can work with that in marketing automation and further customize and personalize the relevance of the flow. And as soon as you get started, you get insights on opens and clicks, what's working, what's not working, and you can use that to optimize your work and your lead nurturing. So a perfect tool for lead nurturing would be marketing automation. So we have some examples tying back to what we have discussed. So trying to kind of put everything together. This is a drip campaign examples with new subscriber welcome and activation. So Frida, what's the idea here? Walk us through this, please.
Yes, here is the idea to actually use someone who is signing up for your newsletter, for example, where, of course, yes, they did already sign up for your newsletter, so you will get in touch with them. But it is a great opportunity to really use nurture to try to push them further down the funnel by saying, welcome, making them feel at home. Here is what you can expect. And in the second email, you can show them relevant things related to you and how they can get started. But you can also actually use the opportunity to get to know them and say, hey, what is your topic of interests? What industry do you work with? To be able to have some more information for the future. But also, I think it's just in general a good flow to add if you have anything that people are signing up for, just to um, make them feel welcome, drag them further down the funnel by lead nurture, because otherwise they may have to, depending on your newsletter frequency, maybe they will have to wait 1 month, 2 months, 3 months until the first newsletter comes out. So I think this is a good lead nurture with also a win-win purpose.
Absolutely. The best time to broadcast is when they're engaging and interacting with you, and you need to seize that window of opportunity when they are very close to your brand and interacting to try to catch them and start the nurturing. Great example. Moving on to an example more focused on content marketing, could again be a drip campaign with several emails in a series. And this time the focus is more nonprofit and membership nurturing. Tell us, Frida.
Yes, here I think it's also the perfect opportunity, as you seem to share the same interest and same projects that matter with this lead. Then I think it's a perfect opportunity to really welcome that lead, to educate and share your knowledge and bring value, also share proof of impact, and in the end of the flow really also show the difference that you make by joining this membership or non-profit. I think that is really that will make everyone feel good.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to be the hero of the day, right? Getting that confirmation that you did something great for someone else or something else. Absolutely perfect. Last but not least, an example of the personal follow-up. And guess what, guys, in the audience, this is something you will experience firsthand, because the example that we've chosen is the personal follow-up after a webinar where you work with the event attendee status and you send them a personal email saying, thank you for joining, thank you for listening, sharing some material, maybe a link to a recording. And if you have some information about the participants, you can do that personal greeting. Use your content marketing strategy here as well. Offer something further tweet, and maybe get that last push of the next step, which could be a suggestion that you could book time with a consultant. And of course, we want to say thank you also in this webinar. And are you now eager to make the most out of your digital marketing? Why don't you go ahead and book a discovery conversation with one of our experts? Maybe this is your next step after this webinar. We have really enjoyed this session, and we want to say thank you to everyone listening, and thank you, Frida, for joining me for this session about lead nurturing. We want to take the opportunity as well to wish everyone a great rest of the day.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Thank you. Bye bye,
Thank you.
everyone.
Bye.